I forget what the shortcut key is to shift them backwards, but you want them in line so it looks nice. So we're going to change these in a second. Oh, that worked nicely. So we got left, right, up, and down. And we also have one after that, but let's just deal with this for right now. So if they're moving right, I'm sorry, this should be true. Move right is true. Move left is false. And if it's up, excuse me, let me change my page here. Move, oh, this should be capitalized, right? And then if the key is the up arrow key, we're going to set move up equal to true, and move down, oops, equal to false. So move up is true, down is false, and if it's down, we do the opposite. We're just going to do false. Move up is false, and move down will be true. Oops. My computer did not like that. It made a noise at me. True. So, now that we have that set up, we're going to move to a different kind of event. If event type equals KeyUp or is KeyUp, which means the key has been released, because when the player releases the key, we want them to stop. So, if the event key equals K escape, meaning they press the escape key and want to quit. Dang it, why can't I do that? There we go. We're going to, let's see, we're going to have Pygame quit, just like we did up above with the exit event. So, now we can go back to the key equals K left. We're just going to set everything to false. Notice when I change the value of something, I use the single equal sign. If I check the value of something, I use the double equals. So we're just going to repeat this for all of them. Alright, so if it's right, we're going to make it right. If it's up, we're going to make it up. If it's down, we're going to make it down. Awesome. That should cover us on there. Now the next thing we're going to do is actually get back to the game. Let's see, am I in line? There we go. So we're going to actually get to the nitty-gritty of the game now. We're going to increase the BearCounter plus 1. This plus equals means is pretty much equivalent to this. BearCounter gets the value of BearCounter plus 1. So that's just shorthand for, or this is longhand for this. This is shorthand for what I just wrote. So the BearCounter is getting increased by 1. And if the BearCounter is, dang it, I keep losing my spot. Okay, if it's greater than new bear, we're going to add more. Okay. So basically this is, okay, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read my script and think at the same time. This right here is clear the screen and add new bears. Or clear the bear array and add new bears. So we're going to set BearCounter equal to 0. Oops. We're going to bears.append. Oops. Let's see, this might just be the copy and paste. Yeah, this is, I'm just going to copy and paste this from up here so I don't have to type, because you guys have to deal with me typing enough. Whoop. So bears.append. Okay, that should be the end of that. Actually, I'm reading through this function. I'm trying to make... I don't remember. This is why you need to add comments, kids, because I'm not really sure what this... Clear bear array and add new bear. So it sets the counter equal to 0. Okay. Whatever. I'm going to leave it in there because I know the program's going to work with it. I'm trying to think what this... If it's greater than new bears, add new bears. Okay, I'm pretty sure this function, or this block right here, means that once we run out of bears, and in the array, which we set at 40, so new bear equals to 40, it's going to add a new bears. I'm pretty sure that's what it does. I just cannot remember why I designed it like that. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to draw the background, not background, onto the screen. So window surface, that variable we created up above, dot fill black. We're going to set up the player movements. And now that we've made our Boolean variables, this will be a lot easier to program. The player dot bottom, since the player is technically a rectangle, that just means the bottom of the rectangle, as long as it's less than the window's height. So basically these next few lines are going to guarantee that the player can't move completely off screen, basically. So player dot top plus equals move speed. So if the player is going too low, it's going to move the player, it's going to stop the player from moving any lower, pretty much. And we're just going to copy this for the next, for the all four sides of the window. Alright, so move up, and top is greater than 0. So pay attention to the difference in each of these, because for the different boundaries you're going to have different different ways of coding. So this is saying if the top of the rectangle player reaches the top of the window, it's going to make sure that the player can't get past the top. And then if move left, is greater than 0. Player dot left minus move speed. And finally, if move right and player right is less than window width. Oh, I'm sorry, I got this backwards. That's why I'm so confused right now. So this isn't the actual to keep the player in bounds. This is actually just to move the player. So as long as the player right and player bottom is less than window. So as long as the player, it's kind of both. As long as the player is within these limits, the player will be able to move, pretty much, is what this code is doing. So if the right side of the player is less than the window width, which would be all the way over here for this window, so as long as that player is less than there, it will move the player. Sorry, I'm confusing myself, and I know I'm confusing you guys. And now this next, the blit means, I forget what it stands for. I'm going to look it up. Blit. Bit block image. Okay, so doing this little function right here is going to paint the player on the screen, and so the player image on top, the first argument or parameter is player image, and that's the actual image you want to show up, and this second argument is the rectangle, so it's posting the image onto the rectangle. And then for bears for bear in the bears array, it's going to paint all the pictures of the bears onto there. So what was the name of that? It was bear, I just lost it, bear image on bear. And then Okay, now we're going to check if player has intersected with bear. So we're going to check to make sure that the player hasn't intersected, and if they do, we're going to interact. We're going to make the bear explode or disappear. So for bear and bears, and this time we're going to add a little bracket semicolon, and that makes a copy of the array, because if we actually set it to interact with the bears in the actual array, it doesn't. I'm not going to get into the technical stuff, but basically if you try to interact with the array itself instead of a copy of the array, it doesn't turn out right. It doesn't work well. And the removal of bears basically won't happen. It'll be buggy. So if player.collide, collide is part of the collide rectangle, actually collide rect is part of the Pygame library. And if that happens, we're going to bear image 2. So the bear is going to change images, and the player are going to change images when the collision happens, like you saw in the beginning of the video. Image 2, player. So we're just going to paint new images onto them. And then we're going to define a function called explosion, or remove bears. And this is how you define a function. Make sure you include the parentheses. For bear and bears, if player.collide rect bear and move left equal false, and we're going to make all of them, so move left is false, and all the way back here move right is false, and move up is false. So basically if the player is completely still and move down is false. Alright, if that happens, we're going to bears.remove that bear. So this function is saying for every bear in the bears array, if the player rectangle collides with the bear rectangle, so if the player hits the bear, the pictures will change up here, and if the player is standing still, the array will remove the bear and the bear will disappear. So basically this function is removing the bears for us. So that we made a function out of it, so that when we write this code right here, and we're going to make is this the same thing? Yep, okay. So if the player is standing still, oops, this might be redundant too. I was just a beginning programmer when I wrote this, so I don't think you might need, I don't know if you need this double code here. Anyway, we're going to put it in just because I know it's going to make our program work. So we're going to start a timer now. So if the player's on top of the bear we're going to make a timer variable called t. It's going to go for 3 seconds, and then after 3 seconds it's going to invoke the explosion. So I guess it is necessary to have this over. Anyway, so we're going to start the timer after that by doing that. So if the player collides with the bear and they're standing still, the timer will start with 3. So after 3 seconds the bear will explode right here, and then this just starts the timer once the player okay, yeah, this defines the timer, and this will start the timer up. Cool. Almost done, ladies and gents. So if the length, this len, it means length. If the length of bears is 0, that meaning all bears have been removed from the array, we're going to set the BearCounter equal to 0 to stop it from putting any more bears on the screen. Windows Surface tablet. We're going to set remember this text variable is from up above, the winning text UN. We're going to set the text, to display, and these are the coordinates we're going to display it at. So the first argument is what the text is and where you're going to display it. And then start game will go to false, meaning the game will end. And the last thing we want to do actually is finally draw the window. So after all this, we're just now drawing the window. Display, update. So we're going to update the window. Main clock dot tick 40. And what this line is right here, it's 40. I believe it's 40 milliseconds. Yes, 40 milliseconds. Basically, if you don't include a little bit of time for the screen to refresh, it'll just do it all at once and it will be insane. In fact, maybe I'll comment that line out in a second and show you what it might look like. So once start game is false, for event in Pygame event get, if event type, we're going to do the quit thing again. And I know a lot of this code is redundant. Please understand that I was a beginning programmer when I wrote it, so there's a lot of stuff in here that's redundant. There's probably a much better way to do it, but for our sake, for simplicity, we're going to make it this way. Alright, and that's the end of it. That should be line 138, so I had one extra or one fewer line or something like that. Hopefully, let me make sure I didn't include any food because that's going pretty fast. I did, so we want to change it to bear. Okay, that's the only one I did, not bad. Alright, let's see if this thing works. We're going to run module, and we're going to save it. Invalid syntax. Well, that's not good. So, we're going to look through, and I'll be right back while I look through and try to find out what the syntax problem is. 1 minute. Alright, sorry about that. I forgot Python actually shows you where the error is. It doesn't have a good debugger, but it shows you where it is. So the thing we missed is, let me see, there's something up here. It's just little things. I forgot the in here, so for I in range 20, first of all. And then down here, I forgot a colon. I've been calling those semicolons this whole time, haven't I? Forgot a colon there. And we'll check it again, so we got something else. For bear and bears, we need another semicolon there, I believe. Let me check my script. This is a good lesson in debugging for all of you. Yes, we needed a semicolon right there, or a colon. Dang it. I'm so used to saying semicolon. Need one more right there. Man, I was bad. Expected an indent block. So we need to indent all this because Python actually runs on indents instead of brackets like other languages. What do we have here? So we need another colon. Jeez. Me and the colons, man. Alright, we got one more thing. Start game. Oh, that was the other one I wanted to show you. We forgot to capitalize one true up here, but it's the important one. It's the one that runs the game. So let's see if we can stop this. What do we got now? Black. Oh, I remember because I didn't. Let me find that. Black. Because we didn't make it. We made it uppercase black, didn't we? Unexpected indent. Oh, I'm sorry. Oops. Let's see if we can unindent all this stuff. Actually, you know what? Let me pause while I do this. This is going to be redundant. Alright guys, sorry about that. Jeez, I had a lot more stuff. First of all, I forgot to capitalize a lot of falses. I keep forgetting in Python you get to capitalize a boolean. Second, this was a capital P for some reason. We missed a N on the down here. I wasn't watching the screen. And I think that was all the bugs we ran into besides the indent. I don't know the keyboard shortcut for indent. I tried to search it real fast but couldn't find anything. Anyway, we're good to go now. We finally got it all done. If you're a professional programmer, really don't judge my programming on this. This is just god-awful, really. But for simplicity, it works, and now we can play our game. So, best strategy is to go at the bears in groups, eliminate them all at once, And maybe let's see if we can win it so you can see what the ending text looks like, and so we can check to see that the ending text even works. Pew, pew. And you can use whatever images you want for these, really. You can make your own like I did, or you can just search online. Oh, we're so close. Keep getting the ones off to the side. There we go. That's what it looks like when you win. And then you just close out, and it will close out. And that's all she wrote. So, I'm sorry that this took a long time. This turned out to be over a 35-minute video. And I'm sorry that if you came here for something very exciting, I'm sorry it wasn't very exciting, but for those of you who are interested in programming and making games, this will be a good introduction to how the process works, all the stuff you got to take into consideration, all the mistakes you're going to make and how you can correct them and look for them. So, oh, pardon me. So, I hope you enjoyed this somewhat. I hope I helped you if this is what you were looking for. We'll be getting back into the game walkthroughs later this week. Until then, I am Phantom Darkness 135. I thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.